Hey everyone, this is Randy Niemeyer here with you today with the Region Republican Show here on WJOB, filling in for our regular host, Bob Starkey. This show is brought to you by the Lake County Republican Party. Yours truly, Randy Niemeyer, Chairman, Leanne Angerman, Vice Chair, Stephen Eichner, Secretary, Chris Salatis, Treasurer, and Jessica Messler, Executive Director. Thank you all for joining us this morning. We have a great guest with us today. This is the heart of election season. We have with us today Chuck Messler, who is running for Lake County Auditor. Chuck is a Local 1 iron worker, so this is an intriguing run for office by someone that has had a lifelong blue-collar background. So, Chuck, if you don't mind, step up to the mic. Tell us a little bit about who you are, maybe your family a little bit, things that you enjoy. Let the audience get to know you as a person.
Well, I'd have to say it. I'd have to say it all started back in 1988. But no, I've lived in Lake County my entire life. You know, that's my poor attempt at a radio joke. So we
have a lot of those.
I've moved maybe a dozen times in Lake County. I've never left Lake County. I went to St. Mary's in Crown Point. Graduated from Andran in 2007. I even went to college for a couple years out in Indiana Northwest, out there in Gary, Indiana. And then I started a family and immediately joined a union. I joined the 710 out in Illinois, which is Teamsters. I was there for 4 years. And then when I got the call to be a Local 1 iron worker, I quit my job and started iron work. And it's been the best 12 years of employment that I've had. It's great job, great opportunity. Great apprenticeship, 3-year apprenticeship. They teach you how to weld. They teach you how to do everything that you need to do in ironwork and to do it safely.
How many kids do you have?
I've got two awesome kids that make me feel old every time I talk about them. My daughter's 15 now, and they say the time flies. It really does. My son is 11, and he's a little version of me. My daughter's a little version of me. It's pretty impressive. We've got strong genes.
So what sort of thing with your background in construction led you to saying, you know what, I think I want to run for office? What is that inspiration?
Well, I mean, you're right. It's not the next logical step in my employment. It really isn't. You know, if that was the fact, every politician would be an iron worker. But no, I made this choice this year after seeing that there wasn't a Republican on the ballot, and I feel like comfortable politicians that have a seat that they're kind of guaranteed with no competition is a way that we get off track and we stop getting we don't get what's best for Lake County. We get what's best for them. And that's why I threw my hat in the ring this year.
What is it in the auditor's office that led you to target that race as one that was important to run for the people of Lake County? So
the auditor's office is the chief financial officer of the county. They oversee the spending of the county's dollars. And when you have as many points of failure in our State Board of Account audits as that office does, I saw it as unacceptable that it's not being properly challenged.
Was there a particular moment? I know serving on the county council when I first took office, one of the first interactions I had with the State Board of Accounts in 2023 was them announcing that Lake County was no longer auditable, that our financial record keeping was in such a bad state that we couldn't be audited, and it caused a loss of bond rating for Lake County. We had a pretty substantial amount of money that was in the bank accounts but couldn't be accounted for through the ledgers. And we took some action after that in installing a comptroller position into the auditor's office. So tell us a little bit about your plan, should you win this office, of how you would make sure that we have the right people in the right places, the right credentials, so that Lake County not only becomes compliant, but gets ahead of the game financially to be able to manage the people's money.
Okay, so that's a big question. My plan, it's how much time do we have here on the radio
We've got
today?
about 20 more minutes. So
Okay, I'll have to
let her
shorten it
rip.
up. I'll have to shorten it up quite a bit. So let's see, where do we start? I think first and foremost, getting a transparency portal in the auditor's office so that we can have an easy to go to resource for the people of Lake County to check and see exactly where their tax dollars are being spent.
Can I ask you what is your vision? What does a transparency portal look like? What's its utility?
So its utility in the beginning is going to be, a spreadsheet showing all the dollars that are leaving the auditor's office at the end of every month. One of the issues on the State Board of Account audits that I didn't like is how we don't have that end of month reconciliation every month between the treasurer's office and the auditor's office. With this transparency portal, it will show that the auditor's office is publishing numbers at the end of every month so that the people of Lake County can see that we actually are working for Lake County.
So what else? What are some other professionalizing mechanisms you can install in an office like that?
Okay. So the first question that I get telling people that I'm running for Lake County Auditor is asking if I'm a CPA. Nobody on the ballot running for auditor this year, even in the primary, was a CPA as far as I know. So one of the moves that I'm pledging to do is get a CPA in that office. It only makes sense having a certified public accountant in there, to help answer questions, to make sure that the office runs in accordance with our internal controls that were not properly implemented and the state laws and mandates that are enforced downstate. Making sure that those are being followed is important.
Yeah, as we know, Lake County has not had a Republican auditor in generations.
Yes.
It's been a long time. And it's pretty typical in Lake County to see office holders change offices. We saw it in the auditor's office between the auditor and the treasurer. They traded, and ultimately it's the voters that allow that to happen. Mm-hmm. But as a candidate running for a countywide office where, we're making ground as Republicans in Lake County, but we're still not where we can automatically create expectations that we're going to win. What is some things on the campaign side that you're doing to connect with a broader audience and build that winning message?
Ooh, all right. So I'm going to everything that I feasibly can. Being a blue-collar guy, I work every day. I do have my day job. It's required that I make money to pay my bills. But every opportunity that I have to go out, shake hands, let people know that they have a choice, they have an option, an auditor. Because, at one point, it does land on the voters for voting for who they elect. But it's also the people who don't throw their hat in the ring. Not giving a Republican option in the general election just makes the election happen during the primary season, which is pretty early. So having that choice, that's going to be our first step to winning, crossing that finish line. Going out and meeting the people of Lake County, letting them know that they have an option, a grounded blue-collar guy who's not, more in the middle ground, I would call myself. I'm definitely right-leaning. I'm the Republican nominee, of course. But kind of coming across as a human, not a lizard person, is one of the things I'm also doing, having somebody who's not a politician running for political office. I'm a union guy.
Yeah, Democrats often do paint us as lizard people.
We don't have enough time for that conversation. That's going to take a lot of.
Actually, we do. No, but so being an iron worker, you're used to an environment where jobs have a budget, right? They have a budget not just monetarily, but in time. Precision work, discipline. Explain. So let's say you're building a bridge. What does it mean to be off by a little bit in your calculations of installation of certain infrastructure within that bridge by the time it gets to the end of the bridge? And then how does that compare to how you would take that sort of precision approach and apply it to government?
So in construction, there's always a rush. They want you to get things done. They want them done now. But if you make a mistake, there's always time. Instead of doing it right the first time, there's always time to do it right the second time. Whatever mistake you make, whatever miscalculation you have to go back, you have to fix it. In bridge construction, if you're off by a quarter of an inch on, maybe temperature, that quarter of an inch can grow to the end of the bridge. And if you're on a mile-long bridge, we could be off by inches by the end of it. And that's a problem,
So you're right now building, or you're participating in building Ryan Field up in Evanston, correct?
Yes.
So when you show up at the job site to start a day, and whoever your higher ups are, and as you're installing whatever it is that you're working on that day, how do you guys, what sorts of systems of accountability exist to make sure that you're constantly measuring that?
Okay, so when it comes to the work at Ryan Field, we start off with clear direction. We're told what we need to do that day.
What does that mean? What does that sound like on a construction site, minus the curse words?
Well, no, that actually shortens it down quite a bit. So if you're in the welding gang, you know that you're going to be welding that day. So that's clear, concise. You are going to be looking at the welding detail to make sure that what you're welding is within spec.
Is it objective or subjective? Are we putting forth things that are that have clear, measurable results tied to them?
Yes.
And how does that communication occur? Who does that come from?
That comes from the guy in charge. That comes from the foreman that you answer to at the end of the day and at the beginning of the day. And they normally give you the detail, they give you access to the job, and they give you the material that you need. It's difficult to weld two pieces of metal when one of them isn't there.
So, and what sort of segments of the job do you work on? Are you a welder? What are you?
Yeah, I've learned how to do every facet of ironwork that has been offered to me. I do a lot of welding now. I'm quite good at it. My partner's really good at it. But we also do stair installation. We bolt up. We make sure that the building can be plumbed up where we could do safety. We do quite a bit. But at the beginning of the day, the boss that gives us the direction, that tells us what we're going to be doing, that sets the basis for the rest of our day.
And then at the end of a day or at the end of a week, are there measurables that are then monitored? Is there progress monitoring that takes place?
Yes.
On these individual projects?
Yeah, on smaller projects, it could be done by floors. Larger projects, it's done by sequence. Right now, we're working in stairwells at Ryan Field, so it's individual stairwells that we're in. Stair, 4 through 7, those kind of stairs. That's how it gets divvied up, and the progress is measured from where we start in the day to where we end in the day.
So take that sort of structured union approach and management approach of projects. How can you apply those things to the auditor's office compared to some of the deficiencies we've had there for years? So how does your sort of work environment translate into that government role, and what are some of those organizational and structural things that you can implement at Lake County government?
So first and foremost, it would be the clear segregation of duties, segregation of responsibilities, so that one person isn't responsible for an entire bowl of work that they need to do. They have their own lane. They have their own projects, so that they're doing the same thing day in, day out. You get less mistakes that way. When somebody's, working on one type of form, they're going to notice any irregularities, any problems, any issues that come up from that, and making sure that they're not also responsible with dealing with an entire other gamut of work, unless that's within the scope of their area. We're going to be making sure that we're going to get experts in their area of operation within the auditor's office. And the auditor's office takes care of a lot of different things. I think it takes care of the our self-insurance, payouts with that, the payroll for 3,000 county employees, as well as getting the exemptions applied to your property taxes, like homestead and mortgage exemptions, making sure that we have people who deal with that so that they're the best apt at answering whatever questions you have, and making sure that at the end of the day, those are the ones that are accountable for the work that's being done.
So let's put you in a scenario. It's January of 27. You're taking over the auditor's office. What's the first move you make?
I would probably get us started with the transparency portal. I've always been taught you don't take down a fence before you know why it's there. I would have to observe the office and see how it works presently before I make any changes. Because if things are working properly and they just need a little bit of guidance, then all that they're going to need is a little bit of guidance. And we'll be able to see that after maybe 60, 90 days of observation.
So would you take the people that are in that office now and begin that process of evaluating whether or not they fit that new business model? Because I think one of the things that people are always concerned about in government jobs is, especially in these larger government units like Lake County, it's really built around political patronage, where if you go out and knock on doors or hand out pluggers or go to fundraisers, you have an opportunity at a job, which is, in my opinion, what is wrong with government in general. But so how will you go through that evaluation process? Because you still have to staff an office with skilled people.
Oh, yes. It would be done like a simple reorganization. We'd be interviewing all of the employees that are in there to make sure that the job that they're going to be doing is the job that they want to be doing. Making sure that they're detail-oriented, making sure that they're truly fit for the position, which I feel a lot of them are. I understand there are patronage armies that have been assembled. I know I don't have one. Maybe I need to get to work on that.
Please don't, Chuck. We want to build our model here in the Lake County Republican Party around professionalism,
yes,
good customer service, basic constitutional principles of government, where we're not rewarding people like it's the 1800s and the advent of the patronage system under Andrew Jackson. Rather, we are implementing systems of professional business structure to the business of the people.
Yes.
That's why I ask so many questions about, your background as an iron worker, because I know what you do has an incredibly high level of precision to it, accountability, and training. What are some things you can do on that training side, like what you would do with an apprenticeship in your line of work? How can you implement some of those training principles to build your staff to get to a point where you have that level of professionalism and business acumen that's required for the office?
Yeah. So when you build a business, when you assemble a group of guys to go to work, it's not best to build that group of guys against one guy that knows what he's doing. I mean, sure, the boss does need to know what he's doing, but having written procedures down that everybody can follow, that really closes the gap. That really brings everybody up to a level of integrity where they can have clear direction on how to perform their duties to the best of their ability in the most accurate way possible, especially for the auditor's office. My goodness. But hearkening back, I know I mentioned I'm not going to be establishing a patronage army. We're going to be making sure that every employee in there is based on merit, the best people for the job. That's going to be it. It doesn't matter at the end of the day what political affiliation they have. If they're the best person for that job, they're going to have that job. And I know that's kind of one of the things that gets brought up is, am I going to be removing a lot of people from the auditor's office? I really don't think so. I think we're going to get the best merit-based auditor's office to perform their duties as accurately and to the best of their ability. I really feel like we're going to have that. We can't replace experience from people who are just asking for a job based on their own political affiliation. We're going to have the best of maybe both worlds in there. As long as people are performing their duties to the best of their ability, and the best of their ability is really good, we're going to have a great auditor's office in January, I tell you.
So on the campaign side of things, you have an event coming up. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we have our fundraiser coming up on Wednesday, August 26th. It starts at 6 p.m. It's at Buddy and Pals in Crown Point on Summit.
You're looking for not just people to attend and donate money, volunteers, things like that. Where can they find your information?
They could find our information on Facebook, Chuck Messler for Lake County Auditor. And we also have a website. It's chuckmessler.com. I swear I'm not that vain. That name was just available and we picked it up.
Well, it's a good name. Would you mind maybe taking a call? Do we have anybody out there calling Lynette? No, nothing?
The auditor's office is pretty boring. You know, there's not a lot of questions that come up for the auditor's office because it's supposed to be boring. Unfortunately, back in 2023, it got way too exciting. When we were inauditable, like that meant that we lost our bond rating. We couldn't borrow money if we needed to. Back when we became auditable again, we ended up taking a hit to our bond rating. We went from A+ to A-, and that's a pretty big hit. Anybody who's had difficulty with credit knows that when your credit score goes down, it takes years to go back up.
Credit goes down, interest rates go up, and the taxpayers pay for it.
Yeah, we don't print money in the Lake County Government Complex Center. Every extra bill, every extra percentage point that we pay on our bonds, that comes out of our pockets, the people of Lake County, and that's what we're really trying to get here, is an auditor's office that doesn't have us take these unnecessary hits to our bond rating to make life more expensive.
And one of the things that is I kind of have a beef with in local government and county government here in Lake County is voters are very habitual in what they do, right? In this particular election, we're looking at probably between 30 and 35% turnout. Mm-hmm. You're running against an established Lake County political name. Mm-hmm. And voters many times have a tendency to vote for just that name. And the office that your opponent currently holds is one that doesn't get a lot of press, right? Mm-hmm. So people don't know a lot about her from a functional standpoint, but there's been audit issues in that office as well with kind of recurring internal control issues. Mm-hmm. What will you do to really kind of combat that name ID that some of the folks in the Democrat machine have compared to you? Mm-hmm. How do you show the average voter that, hey, Chuck Messler is a guy with a skill set, a background, and a focus on running a solid, clean office that's not politically motivated? Mm-hmm. It's not regurgitating the same things. Rather, it is focused on the end result, having a precision product for the taxpayer. How do you do that?
Ooh. Okay, that's another large question. I'll see if I can answer it as quickly as I can. As far as name recognition, getting out there and getting my name out there is going to be a hill to climb. That is a struggle. Sending out mailers is going to be important. It's expensive, but it's something that we're going to be doing here very shortly. Getting signs out in yards. We love getting names and addresses for people. If you want a small sign, a large sign, every little bit helps. And we can produce some of that. I know fundraising is one of the things that's a barrier for that. Getting billboards is another thing that's on our radar here. And that's an easy way to reach a lot of people. Very, pie in the sky. There's a big sign that has my name on it with hopefully not my face. I know I have a face for radio. I didn't realize we were going to have cameras and that it was going to be a big deal. But no, getting my name out there.
Listen, it's all filtered. You don't have to worry about it. Yeah.
God. Okay. Good. But no, that is one of the difficulties that we're going to see on the campaign trail is getting past name recognition. But I feel with the amount of outreach that we currently have, the amount of outreach that we're planning on getting in the next couple months here before October when early voting starts, I think we have our work cut out for us. But it's work that we're willing to do. In ironwork, when things get tough, you can't just walk away and say, no, it's too difficult. You have to work hard. And if the job is hard, you got to work harder. And that's what we're willing to do here.
What a novel concept. Hard work requires someone focused on working hard and finishing the job rather than looking at a clock and saying, well, I got to go home now because it's this time. Mm-hmm. Now, if there's work to do, you stay on the job site. When there's work to do at Ryan Field, you'll stay on the job site at Lake County Government doing the same thing, leading the office from the office, not from outside the office via telephone. So it's important that we have that sort of leadership with that kind of background. And we're lucky here in Lake County this year. We've gotten Republicans to step up, run for offices like sheriff, clerk, auditor, treasurer. We've got a great slate of candidates. Chuck is just one of them. Folks, I hope that you'll give him a consideration. Come out on the 26th.
Yep, 26th, Wednesday.
At Buddy and Pals in Crown Point. What time?
It starts at 6, goes
6
till 9.
o'clock. Come out, meet Chuck. It's a very affordable fundraiser. Be a great opportunity. You've been listening to the Region Republicans, brought to you by the Lake County Republican Party. Randy Niemeyer, Chairman. Leanne Angerman, Vice Chair. Stephen Eichner, Secretary. Chris Salatis, Treasurer. Jessica Messler, Executive Director. All here on WJOB 1230 AM, 104.7 FM. And on your social media. So I hope you enjoyed the show. Chuck is a guy that's worthy of your consideration. And let's give him a shot to do this and stop doing the same thing over and over again here in Lake County. You've been listening to Region Republicans on WJOB.